Let me explain the situation here. Our goal is just to figure out what happened. If you cooperate with me, I might be able to help you. Do you know this person? What did he do at 7 p.m. on Tuesday, April 2nd? My witness told me about what happened, but I want to help you. So I'm giving you a chance to come clean. We find the equipment registered under your name. Do you want to explain? If you keep being like this, it only gets harder for you. I know you have good intentions, just tell me. Both of you have the motives to do it. I know she talked you into this. You can be honest with me. Just admit it. This is your last chance. Did you open the podcast?
Hello everybody, welcome to KU on the Record's very first episode. I'm your host Mia.
And I'm your co-host, Kun.
Yes, and we'll be talking about anything and everything university life as well as young adulthood in this podcast.
But not today.
Right, except for today. We thought that it would only be appropriate for us to introduce ourselves before we tell you our deepest, darkest secrets. So that is exactly what we're going to do today.
All right, Mia, could you explain the title for today?
Yeah, so as you can see, the goal of today is for us to not fall in love.
Not fall in love.
Yeah.
Not fall in love. Okay, that sounds good. Okay, could you elaborate, please?
Okay, so we mainly use questions from a questionnaire called 36 Questions to Fall in Love to get to know each other and also for you guys to know us more.
So we will be asking each other questions and we'll be answering them.
Yeah.
Right? To
Yeah.
get to know each other more.
Right, but don't worry because despite the name of this questionnaire, is actually often used by strangers, friends, and whoever wants to, get to know each other more, be closer, as friends.
So it's like an icebreaker activity, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
But we want to be special. We want to be creative. So to add a twist, we are gonna draw each other based on our answers to the questions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
We have to draw each other.
Yeah. Are you
Wow,
confident?
You're not gonna like my drawing. I am a terrible drawer.
Yeah, you're not gonna like my drawing as
Okay.
well.
Don't be surprised if I draw like a stick man and just.
Yeah, I'm gonna do the same. Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna do the same.
All right.
Yeah. So, have you ever heard of 36 questions?
No, this is my first time
Yeah.
ever hearing about this question. I didn't even know there was a set of questions where for people to get closer with one another, and
Yeah.
it's called 36 questions not to fall in love.
The name is 36 questions to fall in love.
To fall in love.
Yeah, but I don't want to start any
Wow.
rumor. I don't want to
Okay,
start any
okay.
rumor, so it's gonna be not to fall in love.
All right, so that's the twist that we added.
Right, and the drawing.
I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised that people would actually ask each other 36 questions to try to fall in love.
Right. There are actually a lot of like YouTube, I guess, channel that tried this before with I think they are totally strangers, and at the end they started to have feelings or whatnot.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I
wow.
think that it's scientifically proven.
It's been
somehow.
scientifically
Yeah,
proven.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Let's see if it is actually effective.
Right. Okay. So let's get started.
All right.
Instead of answering all 36 questions in order, we will randomly pick our questions from this box that Leon is going to give me right here.
So you'll pick a question from that box, and I will answer it, or you will answer it.
Both of us
Both
will
of us will
answer.
have to answer.
And
Okay.
then it will be your turn, and then my
Okay.
turn again.
Okay.
So first, can you guys briefly introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi. My name is Mia. I am majoring in media and communication in Korea University. I am from Vietnam. So just TMI about myself. A lot of people said that I look cold when they first meet me, but I can assure you that I am warmer to the touch. Yay! Kun?
My name is Kon. I am a second year mechanical engineering student here in Korea University, and I am a Korean. So my Korean name is Kim Kon, but I actually grew up in the Philippines from a very young age. So I went to the Philippines when I was 3 years old, and I pretty much grew up there my entire life. So I guess I will add a TMI also because Mia did so. I prefer to speak English over Korean. for what in your life do you feel the most grateful for?
So, this is actually my second time attending, like, being in a university.
Really?
Yeah. So I actually graduated from a university in Vietnam, and I was majoring in business administration, specialized in finance. But I just realized one day that I can't be doing finance. I can't be one of the finance bros, yeah, for the rest of my life. So I just like decided to change my major, and I am very grateful for my parents for like, you know, supporting me money wise and like, you know, mentally. Yeah, so that's what I'm grateful about.
So you actually graduated in Vietnam already?
Yeah.
And you decided to apply to Korea University with a different major because you didn't like your first major.
Yeah, so I actually like media, so I like looked for programs in Korea about media. Yeah.
What made you choose Korea in particular?
So the choices were the US and Korea, but Korea is a bit cheaper.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
And it's safer than the US.
Yeah, right. It's safer, right? Yeah, how about you?
For me, I would say I am most grateful for my mom because I would say, well, you know, typical Asian household, they're very strict when it comes to grades and your studies, and you have to do well in school and all that. But when it comes to my mom, it was actually kind of the other way around, because you know how in a normal, in a average Asian household, it would usually be the parent telling the kid like, oh, you have to study hard, you have to do well in your tests and all that. But for me, I actually was the one who kind of kept myself in check. I was like, oh, I have to do well in school, I have to, like, my parents are making all these sacrifices and we're like in a foreign country, I have to do well. And whenever I would have a hard time or get a bit too stressed out, it was always my mom who would actually be there and tell me to take a break, or it's okay. Like, she would always be there to support me. So yeah, I wouldn't be here if it weren't for my mom.
Wow, so you were one of the easy children to deal with.
I wish I could say that with confidence, but you know, every kid comes with their own set of problems.
Okay, right, true.
You said parents, so it's your turn now.
Okay, thank you. Given the choice of anyone in the world, whom would you want as a dinner guest?
Dinner guest.
I guess the point of the question is like, who do you want to have like a conversation with, like, and I guess like dead or alive, because they may have like some insightful thoughts or things like that. I guess.
Is this someone that I'm supposed to know personally, or could it be anyone?
It could be anyone.
Anyone.
Yeah, anyone.
Wow, anyone. Okay, I'm gonna need some time for that because I'm thinking about someone who's famous,
right?
And someone who has done a lot in their life. I would probably choose. Oh, that's hard. Do you have anyone in mind for you?
Actually, I don't like. Actually, like my answer is gonna be very shallow.
Really? Okay, go for it.
I feel like I would like to have a conversation with my idol.
Your idol?
My K-pop idol.
Oh, your K-pop idol.
Yeah.
Okay, who is it?
Because, okay, let me explain the reason why first. But like, because I always feel like very fascinated with their like job, their career choice, and like, you know, they have like very specific, like, details, like things that normal people cannot really, you know, understand.
That's true.
Yeah, so like, for example, like how do you deal with, I don't know, like crazy fans? How do you feel, you know, facing the cameras all the time? Like, how do you get over that? Because I know a lot of idols, they used to be like introverted or like, you know, camera shy. So I just want to know how they like overcome that. Yeah.
So who's your idol?
My current idol is Hyunjae from The Boys. Do you know them?
No,
Yeah.
I do not follow K-pop. So
Yeah.
okay, I was gonna draw something if it was a boy band or like a group that I knew. I was probably gonna put something there in drawing. I have no idea who that is.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. But like honestly, it's just any idol would be interesting. Honestly, yeah.
Well, for me, I think I would want to have dinner with. I'm not sure if you know this guy, the Jonathan.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
him?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because lately I've been watching his videos on YouTube, and there was this video where he actually came to Korea University, right? A few months ago, I think.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. I remember.
With who?
He did. I think he came alone. I didn't watch that video, but I watched the video where he played FIFA, or I think it was FIFA. It was a football video game.
Yeah.
With Son Heung-min. And I kept following his videos because he was so fun, and he seemed like a really chill and fun guy to be around.
Yeah.
So my pick is Jonathan.
Oh, that is a really good pick though.
Right?
Yeah, that's a good pick.
And he's like around our age, so.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, I guess our age is not.
Okay. No, our age. Our age. Okay.
Okay.
So before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say and why?
Oh, wow. Okay. It actually depends who I'm calling. So, for example, if I'm calling like an office or basically like the school office or a government office or just any sort of office where there is a person at the other end that what do you call that? The caller where they receive the call. What do you call those people? I forgot what you call them.
I don't know.
It's like the call respondent or something. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, when there's someone at the other end with a landline phone and supposedly answering something, I kind of not rehearse, but I kind of write down. Oh, like, okay, I'm calling for this, and these are the things I want to know from this. Yes, from this conversation or this call. Like, this is why I'm calling this person. So that's kind of what I write down, and when I call, I'm like, yep, I asked that. That's kind of I kind of create a checklist before I start calling that person. So because I've had so many experiences where I did not have a checklist. I called, I asked something, and after I ended the call, I'm like, oh no, I should have asked something else. And I ended up calling again. I'm like, hi, it's me again. Can I ask this? And like, there was this time where I had to call the same person 4 times.
4 times.
4 times. I remember it was 4 times. And the 4th time, it was so embarrassing because that person was like, oh, it's you again.
It's the same person.
It's the same person because I had to keep asking the same question. Not the same question, but I had like another question that I wanted to ask, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And after that, I kind of decided maybe I should have a checklist for all this.
Right. Okay, you are actually the first person to have like a written checklist.
Really?
Yeah, that I know. Yeah, because like I thought like rehearsing before you call is like already like a lot.
Rehearsing. Okay,
Yeah.
rehearsing. I've never like written a script down and like, okay.
Oh,
I
hello,
need to-
ma'am.
Yeah, no, it's not something like that, but it's more like for example, like if I'm gonna ask the school about, let's say, like scholarship opportunities, I'll be like, oh, so what are the scholarship opportunities you have, or like what are the conditions that have to be met, or something. I like write all those down, and when I call the office, I like, okay. I think that's all the questions I had,
Okay.
and I can end the call now.
Yeah. Before I study abroad, I was not afraid of phone calls, but ever since I started studying abroad, like I had like this phone phobia. Is that what you call it?
I doubt it's called the phone phobia.
Okay,
but
okay.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm just terrified whenever I receive a phone call or like I have to make a phone call because of the language. Yeah. So I was in Japan and now I'm in Korea and it's still not going away. I think it's getting worse.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable speaking in Korean or?
Nope.
Not
That's
at all?
why. Nope, not at all.
Maybe
like-
that's why. There's like a language barrier. Okay.
So, what is your most terrible memory?
Terrible memory. Oh wow. Terrible memory.
A great start.
That is wow. Okay. Oh, okay. I have this fear of blood.
Oh.
Yeah, I have this trauma of blood.
Uh-huh.
And basically, it started from when I was a very young kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I was around my last years in elementary, or maybe like my early years in middle school. And so I told you I have a brother, and we are only 3 years apart, so we're very close, especially when we were young. We would play with each other a lot, and we were playing at home, and our house was very white. So we had white walls, we had white tiles. A lot of the furniture was also not exactly white, but they were
Like
pretty
beigey?
they were
Yeah.
like beige. They were like lightly colored. So we were playing, and in our house we had like this a corner in the house where the wall was like there was an edge basically.
Right.
And my brother and we were playing, and I forgot what we were playing, but he was just spinning to get dizzy. Because you know what, as a kid, when you're dizzy, it's just fun. Like whatever you do as a kid is fun. And
Yeah.
at that point in time, we were just spinning, and we thought that was fun. So my brother was spinning, and he was spinning and spinning, and he got dizzy after spinning. He hit his head on the edge.
On the
edge
of
the
the wall.
corner, of the wall, and it was a pretty hard wall, and his head like kind of ripped open. There was not a fracture, but the skin kind of ripped open.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and there were blood, like the blood just like kind of, it was everywhere.
It was everywhere.
And his hair, because you know how human hair,
Okay.
it's very different when it's wet, right?
Oh shit.
And like the hair was wet.
Okay.
But you know how blood, it's not,
Right.
it's not exactly, it's kind of sticky if it's very thick.
Okay, you're being very descriptive.
Yeah, okay. You are describing nice. But okay, basically there was blood everywhere.
Right.
All right, and it was white. So the blood is very clear, right?
Yeah.
And I was a kid. I
Right.
was a very young kid, and at that time, like my brother, he wasn't even in pain because there was so much of a shock factor.
Right.
And me myself also, I was so shocked because there was just so much blood all of a sudden. I was like I did not know. I was just frozen at the spot.
Right.
And I just went to call my mom, and my mom, she was very surprised when she saw it. And after that, she was also, I mean, of course she was shocked because you know her son was bleeding from his head.
Oh my god, I should not.
And like he's not even crying when he's supposed to, and she was like worried. So she took my brother to the hospital, and because it was so chaotic and all that, she left me
Okay.
in the house alone.
Okay.
And I was just there with a wall that used to be white.
It used to be
covered
white,
with
oh my God.
Blood, and the floor, the tiles are bloody, and I'm just like, oh wow, I have to clean this or something.
Oh, you had to clean it?
Because
Your mom didn't make you clean
No,
it.
no, my
You
mom
just,
didn't make me.
You just like, I had to.
My thought process was,
Yeah.
because you know how, of course, like we had like scabs or like wounds growing up, right?
Yeah.
And like if it bleeds, it would dry. and
Right.
it's very hard to remove the blood, right? So my thought process was, okay, white wall, white tiles. If the blood dries,
Okay.
it's gonna be very hard to remove. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
Let me get a towel. Let me try to like wipe it, but the blood is very thick. It was very sticky, and I'm just like, I'm wiping all the blood off, and it was a terrible experience growing up. And after that, I get so scared of blood, and it's not like, just so there's no misunderstanding, it's not like you get a cut, it's like, oh, there's blood, I'm scared. It's more like the very deep wounds, or like where there's a lot of blood,
Right.
or like, you know, where there's like health documentaries where they like kind of show all that. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah, I feel bad because I was laughing about your trauma, but
I'm not over it, but I'm like okay with it. I'm still scared of blood, but I'm okay to talk about it.
Yeah. Alternate sharing something you consider a positive first impression of your partner.
Okay, so this is actually my second time meeting Mia. So I guess the first impression will be the first time. The first time I ever met Mia was, so we have this mutual friend. Her name is Elena. So
The president?
yeah, she's the president of this club.
Right.
Yeah, so she's the president of this club. And Elena is also a very good friend of mine. We have known each other for, I think, a semester or two. Yeah, so Elena actually approached me and kind of proposed the idea of being a co-host of this podcast. And at first, I was like, in my head, I was like, no way, because I'm a very, very introverted person. I thought I was camera shy, but now that I'm here, I'm not sure if I know what camera shy means. But you know, I'm a very shy, quiet, introverted person. Believe it or not.
Believe it or not, yeah.
Yeah. So when she first proposed the idea, in my head, I was like, no way. But I was at that point in my life where I wanted to try new things and kind of explore my options, you know, try something completely new. And, you know, being in a podcast, you know, coming from the science campus all the way to media and, you know, shooting a podcast is like completely new. It's like way out of my comfort zone. So I was like, you know what, let me at least, you know, kind of look into it before saying no, like, you know, for rejecting the idea completely. So I had a meeting with Elena, and that's when I first met Mia, actually. And that's when I learned that she would be also part of this podcast and be my co-host to this KU on the air, right?
KU on air.
On air. Sorry. This is my first time, so that's the first mistake I'm gonna make. KU on air. Yeah, right. So I learned that she was gonna
It's
be
the name of the
co-host.
club.
Is the name of the club.
This team is called KU on the record.
On the record.
Right.
Okay, yeah. KU on the record, yeah. So that's when I learned that Mia would be the one managing this side of the club.
Right.
And to be honest, at that time, I told you I was kind of on the edge, right?
Right.
I'm saying yes or no. And I was like, you know what, maybe I should try something new. And when I first met Mia, she seemed very prepared.
Oh,
She
really?
seemed very ready. You know, because it's something new to me, I had a lot of different questions, and I would ask them to Mia. And she was also very nice. She explained to me all these things like, oh, this is what we're doing, this is what's going on right now, and this is what we'll be doing. This is what the topics will be and all that. So I was like, oh, okay, that actually sounds something, you know, I could try to get into. Your answer, please. I'm actually curious about this.
Well,
so.
thank you, actually, because like you said, I was nice.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Yeah, because I remember you also mentioned in our first meeting, you said that people normally think you're very cold. And I was like, that's really not the image.
Oh,
or,
really?
like, the first impression I had of you. So I was like, I had a difficult time kind of understanding how can people.
Okay,
find me
so
cold.
you got fooled. Okay,
Yeah, let's
moving
see.
on.
This is only our second meeting, so let's see.
Let's see. For you, I think the first impression is like you're a very smiley person.
Oh, smiley.
Yeah, and because like it's not like just like smile and stop, but like you smiling all throughout when you talk as well. Very smiley person, and I think at the time the first impression was that I think you were a good listener, and when I met you, I kind of understood like why Alina wanted you to be our second host.
Really?
Yeah, because like I don't know like the exact reason, but I just at some point I feel like okay, I can feel that you were listening with intention, and you were like waiting for me to finish or something, and I feel at that time I thought, okay, he's a good listener. Yeah, so that's a good first impression. But there's a follow-up. Is there a bad impression as well?
Bad impression. Okay, because for me,
That is a bit okay.
yeah.
That is a bit too quick because
No,
like you
okay.
took a lot of time to go to the good impression. Okay.
Whoa. Okay. For me.
Okay.
Okay. When it comes to bad impression of someone I met for the first time because from the first impression, I can kind of. I'm sure this applies to most of the people. When you first meet someone, you can kind of tell like, oh, am I gonna vibe with this person or not? Like, am I gonna get along with this person or not? So, I'm the type of person, if I get a bad first impression, that you will probably not be seeing me again for the second time. Because if I don't vibe with you, or if I don't see a future in our relationship of us being friends or any like sort of relationship, I am gonna just back away. I mean, I'm not gonna leave right on the spot, but I'm gonna, oh, okay, it was nice meeting you. But in my head, I'm like, probably not gonna see you again, but it was nice meeting you. Yeah, so I think with you, I did not have a bad first impression because everyone who I am maintaining a relationship with, my friends and everyone around me, they are the type of people where whom you will have a difficult time having a bad first impression.
Oh, okay.
So they're all very nice people, and I can say the same about you. If I introduce you to my other friends, I could say in full confidence that they would have a very good first impression of you as well.
Oh my God, thank you. Oh my God, I'm so happy. You're not gonna like this, but
okay, here comes the hate.
no, but because I'm actually a pretty pessimistic person about people in general. Yeah, so I had bad impression about all of my first impression about all of my closest friends, and it's always the most stupid stuff. Like for example, my best friend, I didn't like her voice back then.
Her voice. Oh wow, I can't wait to hear what's mine. But wow, so your best friend is the voice. Is the voice that you did not like. Wow.
I told her that.
I can only imagine like what happens to the friends that are not your best friends. Like.
Oh yeah, but in the end, I always came to like them anyway.
Okay, my turn to pick a question. What do you value most in a friendship? Oh wow, in a friendship, I guess honesty.
Honesty.
For me, yeah. I think this applies to not just like friends, but also let's say romantic relationships or just any sort of relationship, like human relationship. That I have. I value honesty the most because I cannot stand fake people. I guess you can also kind of agree with that because you didn't like her being fake with her voice, but yeah, I hate people who are fake. So if I catch someone in a lie and they know that they were lying, then that is just the end of the relationship. I don't want to hear whatever excuse you have or whatever explanation you might have. I'm just like, I'm done with the relationship. So for me, the most important value I have in a relationship is honesty.
Yeah. Well, for me, I think it's kind of similar. This similar thing applies for all the relationship as well. It's communication. So I just want like very clear communication for all kinds of relationships. But for friendship specifically, I kind of expect like support.
Support.
Yeah. So not in the way of like, I do stupid shit. Sorry, I do the most stupid, like silliest thing, and you're gonna be like, oh, go girl. Not really like that, but like support as in like, you be there for me, and then when I do things, you gonna tell me like if I done that thing well, or like if I like did something wrong, did something stupid, things like that. So supportive friends.
Supportive. So would you say your friend group supports you in a way that you want to be supported in?
That's very
Oh, are we gonna be exposing a lot of people here?
No, because okay, so like I said, I have very unrealistic high standard, and I guess it flip flops. I have friends that I feel like, okay, I have full support from this person, but I also have friends that I feel like, okay, I don't really expect support from them. Like their friendship, their friendship is for different purposes. Yeah.
So what kind of gives that off? For example, what makes you realize that they're being friends with you for a different purpose?
Like no, not being friend with me for a different purpose, but like I rely on them on different thing, not for
so
for the support.
Okay,
Yeah.
I get it now. It's your turn to pick.
Okay, so it's getting more serious, I guess. What, if anything, is too serious to be joked about?
Oh, wow. I have a lot because I love making jokes, especially with like people I'm comfortable with.
Yeah.
Like my close friends, I love making jokes. And there were times in the past where I kind of crossed the line. You know, like you kind of touch on an area where it's kind of sensitive and all that. So I think the line depends on the person you're joking with. Because I also have friends who are very cool and you know, they don't care about a lot of things. So like you can make racist jokes, sexist jokes, you can make any kind of jokes and they're okay with it.
Yeah.
But there are also people that are not very open. They're not very accepting. Not I don't want to make them a bad person, but they have a lot of areas where they're kind of sensitive about. So I kind of make jokes depending on the person. So if I know that person well enough, I'm comfortable enough to make, you know, jokes that I just think of. But if it's someone that I'm not very, you know, close with, or I don't know that person that well yet, then I try to refrain from making any jokes so I don't kind of step on some sensitive areas.
Right.
Yeah.
So what about you? Like what type of...
Me?
Yeah.
For me, I don't like jokes about family.
Family.
I think that's something I never touch. So whether you have a good relationship with your family or not, that's something I never joke about. Even I don't say anything bad, or I don't make any comments, whether it's for a joke or not. Anything that has to do or related to their family or anyone's family, I just don't do it.
Yeah.
I think that is something that we can all agree on is kind of going a bit too much.
Right, yeah.
What about you?
For me, it's a bit more vague, but for me, I think jokes about people's values and people's insecurities are not very okay. Because like I experienced, well, not really I experienced, but in my friend group in high school, there were people that used to make jokes about people's insecurities. And like back then, maybe, I don't know, I don't even remember what I did back then, but I might or might have, I might or might not like go along with the joke. But now I think it's like it's a very cruel things to do. Yeah. And for the values, like, because people have different values, and if you joke about people's values, I feel like it would make them question themselves as well. Yeah, so that are the two things for me.
My turn. Complete this sentence. I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank. Oh wow. I wish I had someone with whom I could share blank.
Oh, this I know.
Oh, you want to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
So for me, I have a lot of like just random thoughts, and I think about things a lot. So I wish I have somebody to be on my side, just ready to just hear about it, and maybe they don't have to understand. They just have to be there and like maybe, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, but
someone to just like listen to your like random thoughts or
random
anything.
thoughts and go through my intrusive thoughts, acting out. Because like people said that I have very random questions or like requests. Yeah.
Like, what do you mean random? Like, you have random thoughts, like the thoughts itself are random, or at random times, or both?
I guess both. Yeah, because like for example, like I don't know why this was that random, but I once asked my friend during lunch, like, can you bark?
Bark?
Yeah, and she couldn't understand why I suddenly asked that. But then another person said like, oh, I mean, it's not that weird. So yeah.
Okay. Well, for me, I wish I had someone whom I could share my food cravings. Because for me, I am a huge foodie.
Yes.
So I love food.
Right.
And I can eat a lot as well. And I get just these random food cravings. And usually I like, obviously there are like different reasons, like, you know, one of them being that, you know, money. I can't exactly just go out there and spending on whatever I want to eat, but I usually satisfy my food cravings by just watching, you know, those mukbangs.
Yeah.
Or like those food videos on social media. I'm just like, that looks good. Yeah. I wish I could try that someday, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But is your food craving like the weird one or like just normal food?
No. It's like normal food, but it's at very random timing. So like in the middle of the day, I could like in class, I'm just like, oh, I want to eat that food. Or,
yeah. Oh my god, I understand that.
Yeah. Or like the weirdest, there's also these times where I'm eating.
Yeah.
As I'm eating, I'm just like, oh, I want to eat that. Like I have these random food cravings.
Yeah. So that's actually what happens to me as well. Cause like I would text my friend like suddenly out of nowhere, like, oh, I want to eat this. I want to eat this. And she would be like, oh, it's that time again. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, that's it for the questions, and we're gonna finish our drawing, and then we wrap this up.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Oh wow, you drew a body as well.
Oh my god, you're so mean!
Show the camera.
Okay. So this is my drawing of Mia.
So first,
Uh-huh.
can you explain what you drew?
Okay. So, well, for me, the one like Mia's glasses is one of the most like memorable traits because I actually had glasses and my glasses was very similar to hers, and I think the first time I met her, like the very first thought I had was like, that is like the same glass I have. So yeah, that's why I drew her glasses. And now as I'm presenting this drawing, I realize I did not draw a nose. Yeah. But yeah, I also included this comment where it says your voice sounds fake, because that's like one of the most memorable things I remember today. Where she said she did not like her best friend's voice, so Mia's best friend, I hope you don't fake your voice. Yeah, so this is my drawing of Mia.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think about your drawing.
Yeah, about my drawing of you.
I don't know what to say.
Okay.
Because I didn't know like the most memorable thing would be something so awful.
Really?
Yeah, and my hair is green.
Yeah, no, okay, so the story behind that was, okay, I used this pen, or this marker, and this marker is clearly black, right? And it was black at first, and as I drew your hair, it started turning green, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's running out of ink, but
no,
it's supposedly black.
No, but honestly, I think it looks like me.
It's the glasses.
It looks like me. I don't like it, but I mean I don't like I don't like the fact that it looks like me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it does look like me.
Well, if you don't like the drawing, that's also completely understandable because I don't feel very proud of this drawing as well.
Okay.
Okay, let me see my drawing.
Okay, but actually, what do you like most about your own drawing?
About my own drawing?
Yeah.
To be honest, it's the hair and also the glasses, because the hair, I put a lot of thought into the hair. I thought like, should I use the pencil or should I use like the marker? And I was like, you know what? Marker seems better. So I tried with the marker and it was a lot more difficult than I expected. Yeah, so I actually put a lot of time than I hoped for in drawing the hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. I try to make the hair look as accurate as possible. I mean, your hair.
Pretty easy.
Yeah, your hair is the easiest one. So that was the part of your face I was most confident about.
Yeah, I like the glass. And actually, the comment is pretty funny as well.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Okay, so here's your picture. Oh.
Oh wow, I look very.
So let me
Cute.
explain. Yeah. Let me explain. So, I think Joanna was trying to ask like, why do I use like purple?
Oh yeah, why do I have
features?
purple ears?
Yeah, cause like I thought like it's something I want to emphasize.
So for the like I said, you're a very smiley person, so it's purple, and I thought you were a good listener, so your ears purple.
Okay.
And I think you have a big heart, so hence the heart. And here, these are the things that you don't like, and these are the things that you like. I tried to like draw your family instead of just write family, but like I just gave up at the end.
Yeah. I guess it's fair to say we both are not artists.
Yeah, we're
it's
not.
good that we're both not trying to go for like cartoonist or one of those careers where your drawing skills your livelihood depends on your drawing skills.
Yeah, I don't know. I still feel like my drawing is better than yours.
Really, I can kind of agree to that because honestly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just okay.
Okay, yes. So, do you like anything in this picture?
I like my cheeks.
Yeah.
It's very. I think it's pretty accurate. I do have chubby cheeks. I got that a lot growing up. And also my eyes. I realized. I think I only realized this recently that my eyes make that
moon shape.
Moon shape when I smile.
Yeah.
Because you don't really look at yourself when you smile, right? You don't get a lot of chance to look at yourself when you smile. So that's actually something I noticed, and I think that's very accurate as well.
Yeah, I like the moon shape, and I like the purple features.
Yeah, the purple features. I didn't get it at first, but yeah, I get it. You put like emphasis into it.
Yeah. Right.
Nice.
Okay, so you guys can keep Bia's picture as a gift.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah. Should we have like?
This is me.
That's it for today. How do you feel?
I feel good. I had a lot of fun today. Actually, it was very fun. This was the first ever podcast that I've ever attended, but it was a very fun experience, and I'm really looking forward to the next podcast that we will be having. This was a very good start.
Yeah. So I think we have achieved our goal of not falling in love.
Definitely, yeah. But something I kind of got from this activity, I definitely have to work on my drawing skills because it's not looking good.
Yeah, same here. Anyways, thank you guys for listening till the end of the podcast. Please suggest topics that you want us to talk about in the comment section and we'll consider it.
Yes, and please like and subscribe.
We'll have a lot of exciting content coming up, not only from our team OR, but also from OT. KU on track, so please stay tuned. And thank you for listening. Bye.
Bye.